Well, hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So, Tron ARES. Now to start off, I'm a very big fan of Tron. I always have been. Well, no, I'm sorry, I should take that back. When I was a kid, I feel like I've always have been, I should say. But when I was, how all this got started, when I was a kid, I'm in I'm in my late 20s now. When I was a kid growing up, Legacy came out. I watched Legacy, fell in love with Legacy, played Tron Evolution, fell in love with all that, fell in love with the whole Tron universe, long story short. And then, of course, went back to watch the original movie from 1982, read some of the comics, all that good stuff, you name it. And then just, went off the deep end, became part of, some of the, groups online that they talk about Tron, read some of the fanfic, all that shit, right? And I've been in my own way invested in the Tron universe for years and years and years, to the point where I nerd out and I'm know tons about it. And we won't even go down that way. Well, we sort of will, but, So I went to see Tron ARES on Friday night, this past Friday night on October 10th when it came out in my area. And I saw the first two trailers and they first came out. I was initially concerned with the movie, obviously, because you all know Jarod Leto. Okay. And we're going to get into that. I'm not specifically saying anything good or bad right now. I just want to let you know, obviously, that was a concern. Also, I'd kind of followed the whole, they tried to start the movie up again. They kept trying to film the next Tron movie, and they kept running into roadblocks, and Disney kept canceling it for whatever reason, right? Like 5 or 6 times, throughout the years. And it just got to the point where you stopped believing in it at the 5th or 6th time when they said, "Hey, we're working on this again." You're like, okay, of course you are, Disney. And I don't like that Tron is owned by Disney. I fucking hate Disney. I don't like anything Disney does. I mean, that I think we can all unanimously agree on, that Disney just sucks. I don't like Disney. They especially with the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing recently, I mean, they don't have any backbone when it comes to morals or they're just bad. They're all in it for the money. They have tons of it, so they can just do whatever the hell they want. And they've gotten so large and so successful, if you will, that they don't think they can fail as a corporation. And so they no longer care about what they put out as much. They're not, or I think if nothing else, they're just simply disconnected from the reality of what people want. So anyways, Tron ARES. So I went to see it in theaters and on Friday night. Honestly, I was impressed with it. Is it as good as Legacy? Absolutely not. And honestly, it would have been very hard to make a movie that I would have liked personally, that would have made it, for me, my opinion, to be as good as Legacy or even better. I mean, that would have been insane. I don't know. If I were to rank it, I would make Tron ARES a 7 out of 10, honestly. I'm not sure an 8, maybe an 8. So I'm going to go into talking about what I thought about the movie, but first I want to talk about the things that I did not like about it. Actually, before I do even that, let's just go ahead and talk about what I did like about the movie. So, starting off, okay, Jarod Leto. So here's the thing, I do like 30 Seconds to Mars, back whenever they were doing those albums way back. I'm not talking about their later stuff, I'm talking about their earlier stuff, right? I'm a fan of their earlier albums. I do. They're some of my favorite albums. I just like them. I don't know what that says about me. I do like a lot of Jarod Leto's older work. I think him and his brother and other people around him in his field have done awesome shit in the past. And I'm sorry, but I do like it. If you don't, then that's fine. I know that, yes, Jared Leto has been involved in, some scandalous shit, or at least alleged. And I'm not fully aware of, there's apparently sexual allegations against him. Okay, yes, those people come out a lot about that now, which is both good and bad, because sometimes you wonder, okay, a lot of this shit probably does happen. It does. But then it's like, sometimes people literally come out and falsely accuse, and it's just, I don't want to get into that whole thing right now, but all I know is they're allegations. And to my knowledge, that's all they ever were allegations. Nothing was ever proved that he did the bullshit people are saying he did. And so, for that matter, I don't want to go into that, and again, I don't know. If they did prove it, and I'm like uneducated about this, I'll go back and read. Maybe I should have done it before recording this video, but from what I was able to find out, it was only allegations. Okay, moving on. So, I am not I'm not a Leto hater, right? I guess just say. I don't love Jared Leto. I don't think he's amazing. I don't know many people that actually do think that. But I will tell you, I don't have this vile hatred and think he's just the poison, the box office poison, as people have been saying. Anyway, so I looked up this movie yesterday, not long after I actually recorded this, my initial video for this whole series, and I started looking at and initially just it didn't get the greatest ratings. To be honest, it kind of matched Tron Legacy as far as ratings went. Tron Legacy, I think, scored still a little better, but this movie was a little bit lower, but honestly not by too far. But that's not even the bad part. You Google this goddamn movie, and you scroll down, and there's Reddit threads, there's Quora threads, there's all kinds of shit. And it's, I mean, and literally the Reddit thread that's on the top right now when you Google this, is it's why do you think, what are some of the reasons, that this movie was bad, right? Which I think is a dumb question. Shouldn't you be asking, what did you think about the movie, and did you like it, dislike it, whatever, instead of just automatically assuming it's a bad movie and asking, why do you think it was bad? Anyway, I didn't write the thread, so I don't know why they decided to do that, but I will tell you that the majority of comments on that thread were, Jared Leto just sucks, Jared Leto just sucks, Jared Leto just sucks. The reason why it was bad was because Jared Leto, blah, blah, blah. And I'm scrolling down, I must have scrolled through 50 comments or some shit, just insane amount of comments that are like this. And I'm okay, well, again, I'm a person that I'm okay, you don't like Jared Leto, great. You don't like the movie, fine. Can you explain to me why, though? I'm not saying that your opinions are not valid or that you shouldn't think that way. I'm simply asking why. Provide some context behind your your unholy amount of disliking here. I finally scroll down to I don't know, the goddamn 45th comment on this video, and finally you start seeing people saying, the movie wasn't actually that bad. You can tell by some of these comments, people didn't actually go to see it. It was actually a decent movie. And I mean, and the ones that were writing these things were saying Leto actually did a pretty decent job. And I have to agree with that. I actually think that Jared Leto did a decent job at this. Do I think it was do I think it's the greatest effing thing ever? No, I don't think it was great. And there's a lot of things I didn't like about it, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to join this unholy herd that sits there and says, Jared Leto just sucks, Jared Leto just sucks, Jared Leto just sucks. And I actually posted about this on my Facebook feed a couple of days when I first looked this up, and on my personal one that I have very few friends on at this point. And I was I don't really understand why people are hating this badly on this movie. I mean, yeah, it wasn't it was an amazing movie, but it wasn't horrible. It was I liked it. I thought it was fine. Again, to me, it's like the first movie. It's it wasn't amazing, but I don't really dislike it either. I could sit through it. It's fine. it's not a bad movie. It's just not the amazing masterpiece that Tron Legacy was. And I realized that, you know, we were wanting another amazing masterpiece, and don't get me wrong, I am upset about that, but I also understand how hard that would be to do. And Tron Legacy was just kind of they didn't really know they were going to make this amazing. It was just happened to turn out to have a cult following. That, you know, the writers didn't intend for that, really. Well, maybe they did. I don't know. So Tron, it's just this Tron ARES, man. It's not a bad movie, guys. It's not. I liked the visuals. I think it was just like, honestly, it was no different, if not in some ways better than Legacy in terms of visuals. And in fact, that's what a lot of people did say when they would come out and say, "What did you do?" They're like, "Oh yeah, the visuals are fantastic." I don't think anybody had a problem with that. The storyline, you know, honestly, people are saying, "Oh, it's a horrible reboot." It's not a reboot. It literally follows, and that's the thing is, did you watch the movie? It follows the original storyline. Now, yes, they may say, "Oh, we'll say it if you haven't seen the movie." Sorry, spoilers. Maybe don't watch this video yet, but it does follow the original storyline. Albeit they basically say at the beginning of the movie that Sam retires, you know, for personal, or, you know, retires from income for personal reasons, or leaves, whatever you want to call it, and moves on, and then we're introduced to new characters, blah, 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 you know, but they still hint at parts of Legacy. And in fact, if anything, I feel like this movie did a better job at including parts of Legacy and the original movie way better than Tron Legacy ever did to include parts of the original movie, right? This movie, I think, really tried to pay attention to all aspects of both Legacy and the original movie, more than Legacy actually ever paid attention to the original movie. Legacy in itself was a reboot, in my opinion. I mean, yes, it followed. It did, actually, this movie did the exact same thing Legacy did, if you think about it. Tron Legacy was kind of sorry, there's squirrels dropping like nuts on my garage roof here. It sounds like people like footsteps. It keeps creeping me out. But it's like, oh God, it's weird. Anyways. I know there's trees above my garage, and they're like jumping across the trees, and they do that. They like drop shit onto the branches or whatever, or from the branches down on my roof, my garage. And it hits my roof and it makes these bumping sounds, whatever. It sounds like shuffling in my garage. It's strange. Anyways, but Tron Legacy literally did that. It was essentially a reboot, but not really. Whereas like, yes, it followed the original storyline, but then it started this whole new series of events. So I can't blame ARES for that. That basically did the very thing Legacy did. And we can kind of sort of expect that. The other thing is that, people were like, well, this whole new ARES character, I don't know. I mean, I like the ARES character. I think it's actually cool. You know, he starts out as kind of a bad guy, and then he ends up like, you know what? No, I've got a freaking soul, which is something I love seeing these days. So many bad guys out there don't have soul. They don't just magically turn around and be like, oh, maybe this ain't such a good idea to be acting like a fucking scumbag. Sorry, not sorry. I did appreciate that character. I thought that was great. Maybe it's simple, I don't know, sure, but I appreciate it. I liked it. I liked how Jarod Leto himself portrayed the character. I think he was very calm and collected in his role. He didn't do a bad job acting that role. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm no expert on this stuff, but really, are you all experts at this? Are you all just somehow film experts that are in professional actors and know what's right and wrong in acting? I'm gonna go with no on that. So, yeah, I'm just really surprised that people are really dodging this movie so soon. I'm like, wow, that's, and you know what though? And here's the thing. Here's the other reason why I think that not many people went to see this movie. I went to see it Friday night, and I literally thought, get there early because there's probably going to be a line. I'm not even able to get in this theater, right? Because there's only 2 theaters where I'm at, is where I live in the middle of fucking nowhere. And so I'm like, but there are a lot of people around here that, you know, would probably like to see the movie, I would think. So I'm like, hey, there's a college town where I go to see these things. So I'm like, oh, you know, it might be a full house, you know. And I was kind of like, hey, let's get there. I get there, and nobody. There's, I think, 5 other people in the theater by the time the movie starts. And it doesn't change. And I had a sinking feeling in my stomach. I'm like, wow, are people really not... And I had an opinion. I was like, well, maybe because we went to like the shittier of the 2 theaters, which I just like. It's closer. I like this theater for other reasons. But I was thinking, you know, the other theater has IMAX. Maybe everybody went to that one because they're wanting to see it in IMAX. I still really don't know what the reason that no one showed up that night was. But I guess my point is when I take to Reddit and people are like, oh, you know, this movie sucked because of Jarod Leto. I'm like, huh? I mean, did you even see the movie? Did you even see... You didn't watch it, did you? You just automatically assumed it was bad. Which is honestly kind of scary. Like, you're actually willing to just assume that this is a bad movie and you've never even fucking seen the movie. You're just, oh, it's Jarod Leto, it's gotta be bad. Guys, there's only been one movie that and honestly, I've not even seen it. I don't really want to see this because I'm not a Marvel fan. I don't really want to, so I'm not gonna watch the movie. Because I'm not a Marvel fan. But because I've not seen the movie, I'm not going to immediately assume it's a bad movie. But I hear that Morbius is a bad movie. Now, again, I would think it'd be a bad movie no matter what, because I don't give a shit for superhero shit. I don't care about that stuff. So if I would have seen it and everybody else would have liked it, for instance, I think Deadpool's the stupidest fucking thing on the planet. I think Deadpool's for idiots. If you watch that, I think you're a moron. If you like that, I'm like, wow. So many like average people like that movie. I'm like, really? You like Deadpool? Okay, cool. That's cute. You know, I mean, shit. I mean, I don't know. That's my opinion, right? You don't have to like my opinion either, I guess. But my point is that if I would never have thought that Morbius would have been a good movie. So regardless of how people thought about it, I probably would have always thought it was a bad movie, no matter what. You know what it's not, because I'm not a Marvel guy or whatever the fuck like these superhero movies are. But people just hate that movie. And again, I don't know why. I didn't watch it. And maybe it is just that bad. Again, I don't know. But I'm like, okay, you know, but my point is that's the only movie I've seen that Jarod Leto did a horrible job in. And I'm like, I mean, it's hard for people to come with other movies that they did. I've heard The Joker wasn't so great either, but again, that one's a mixed bag. It's not nearly as like, oh my god, it's horrible like Morbius was. I don't know. So, all I know is I did see Tron ARES. I thought it was fine. I thought it was great, honestly. And I enjoyed it. And I will buy it on Blu-ray and cherish it as a Tron installment. Just like I did with Legacy and the first movie. And other actual small, like, you know, like Tron the Next Day or even video games, right? Honestly, so far, the one Tron thing that I genuinely dislike is Tron Uprising. I can't get on board with that shit. No original actors when they're portraying original characters from Legacy. And it's a fucking cartoon. It's a cop-out. It's a cheap cop-out. And I don't really care for... I tried watching Tron Uprising. It tries to rewrite what Evolution already did before Uprising ever came out. And for that, I just think it's a cheap cop-out. And I don't appreciate it because I do love Tron Evolution. So, my point is, yeah, I don't fucking know what y'all are complaining about. I'm sorry, I rambled on about a couple things. So, I had... the Facebook post I put up about the whole Tron thing. I'm sorry, I got off topic there. I had one person comment on it because I'm like, why are people hating Jarod Leto so badly in this movie? Like, I thought it was fine. And this one chick commented on there. You know, I'm not going to obviously say who this is, but she's like, I truly think that people don't like Jarod Leto because, or like the way she said it, which this person's a character, so just take this for what it is, but still. She literally said, and I thought it was funny, regardless of, what you think about it. She said, well, yeah, most men don't like Jarod Leto because he looks so good in his 50s. And they're jealous or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I mean, I don't give a shit. I mean, I think the guy's okay. I mean, he's great. I liked what he did in this movie. That's fine. I don't horribly hate the guy. Again, I like some of his, I don't like his new albums, his new music. I'm like, meh. I don't have a political problem with it, but I just don't think it's good. It just doesn't bite me, I guess. I'm it's just not like, I don't really, like when I listen to a song, I'm like, oh man, this song, it's fucking, it's amazing, Doesn't catch me like his old stuff does, I guess. And that's like, it's not like I horribly dislike his music. I just, like politically dislike it or something. I just think that it's, it's just not for me. As in, like, I don't really care for the melody or something simple like that, right? Like any song could be this, right? But yeah, I don't know. I guess this is where I'm the once again the weird one, because I'm like, oh, I actually thought Tron ARES was fine. Again, was it the greatest Tron installment out there? No, it was not. But it's not going to compare to Legacy for me, because Legacy was the thing that got it started for me, and I love Legacy just for what it is. I mean, I can watch Legacy right now and still love it like I'm watching it the first time. It's just one of those kinds of movies, it's just, nothing's going to replace that, right? I'm just happy to see that we're getting Tron content. That's the fucking problem. That's kind of why I'm a little bit upset right now with this. I wanted to talk about this tonight, was that we waited 15 years for another Tron movie. 15 fucking years. Disney basically kept telling us over and over again, oh, we're working on it. No, we're not. Oh, we're working on it. No, we're not. Oh, we're working on it. No, we're not. And then the one time that they actually follow through, no, don't get me wrong, so much shit had happened. We lost, that's why they couldn't continue on. It's not, if you want to blame anyone for not continuing the original storyline, like leaving off directly from Legacy that the original plan was, it's Disney's fault. It's not Jarod Leto's fault. It's specifically Disney. In fact, the whole reason why we have a new Tron movie is because of Leto. He actually, he's a Tron fan himself, and he's like, dude, I wanted to see this stuff take off, and if nobody else is going to do it, I freaking will. I'll get it off the ground again. And he did. That's why we're seeing a new movie. That's why we got one. Or we would not have probably got one were it not for Leto. Maybe, but I don't think so. Maybe not. I mean, they kept showing they weren't interested in it. My point is that we've waited all this time and we actually got a new Tron movie, and it wasn't actually that bad. In fact, they really did try. They tried to keep it. Yes, it was a reboot, but it was the exact same kind of reboot that Legacy was. Technically, here they really haven't gone totally out of, they've kind of done about. They've actually followed kind of all the rules I thought they should follow. And people were like, well, I didn't like it because it took place more in the real world. Legacy was setting up to that. And in actually a lot of ways, this did follow Legacy. Because Legacy was all about, Clue almost got to the real world. Thank goodness he didn't, because, he would have fucked a lot of shit up. But Cora did make it with Sam. And so, like, the whole idea was, God damn it, that now they're going to say we're moving on to this is the way the world works now, post, Legacy, and now they're trying, this is the next chapter, we're bringing the grid to Earth now, we're combining the worlds. That was always going to happen, even with a Tron, like if they were going to continue on the original Tron with Cora and Sam. Now, we might be thinking, well, what happened? So two things I will agree with you all on that I wish Disney would have done more with, and they didn't. Okay. Number one, there's a Tron movie without actual Tron, like no Tron at all. And they just try to slide that one under the rug. So I'm like, okay, so no Tron, but the movie's title is Tron ARES. But they did say like Tron, colon ARES, I guess indicating that, oh, we're supposed to like, this is it's a Tron movie because it's the name of the movie series, but it's really more about this guy. Okay, that's, I guess, what they're trying to say, but you couldn't have brought back Tron? I mean, I realize that Bruce is getting kind of old now, but, I don't know. I'm not sure. I would like to have seen, well, even like they showed like pictures of Sam and Cora throughout parts of the movie, like, so they're trying to like, be like, hey, these characters still in some way exist, but they're not, but there's like zero mention of Tron at all, especially when he didn't necessarily de-res in Legacy. We didn't see him de-res, so he's not dead. Well, at least we didn't see him die. And this is a movie, let's be real, technically he wasn't killed off. In fact, Flynn did die, and we do see Flynn, in fact, we see him in like his ghostly form, and actually I think that was the Flynn that died, not just a Flynn, it was the Flynn. Because when Ares pops back out of the Flynn grid in this new movie, he comes out, again, spoilers, underneath Flynn's arcade, right where Sam went in, right, and came back out. Which indicates that system was the entire time always connected back to the Incom system. Just Legacy tried to make you believe it wasn't. Or at least they try to, whatever, right? So, my whole point here is we saw Flynn, I truly think it was the Flynn. I guess, again, I don't know if we fully could prove that, but I think it truly was. But yet, zero mention of Tron. No Tron at all. So that's a big problem I have with this movie. They could have put Tron in somewhere. There were multiple ways they could have done it. Don't know why they didn't do this. The second problem... Sorry, I had to gather my thoughts for a second. The second problem I had with this movie was they do show, okay, well, it continued on from the Legacy storyline, or the original storyline, sorry. Well, as we saw from the very end of Tron Legacy, is Sam and Cora are now out in the grid together, right? And in Legacy, the ISOs were a big deal. Now, I realize that was technically in Flynn's little world, and the characters that we saw on the outside of all that with Legacy, or sorry, with ARES, they don't really know about the whole events of Legacy. A lot of people, no one really knows, except for really Sam, Flynn, Cora, and Alan. The only three that really truly knew what happened, and even not even so much Alan, really only Sam and Cora, right? And they're not in, they're out in hiding somewhere, apparently, or whatever. I don't know. They didn't really say that. They just said they're not involved right now. Well, the problem is, though, is that Cora did make it out, and I think we all know what I'm getting at here, is she's an ISO. So, I'm guessing, I guess I could sort of answer my own question here, and the reason why they didn't have, like, any mention of the ISOs or anything like that is, one, nobody in the movie that we saw in ARES would have known about the ISOs, but also, two, was Cora just kind of kept under wraps the entire time? With Sam Flynn, did they announce her presence with Incom? Whenever Sam took it back over for that short period of time? I guess we don't really know the answers to these questions. At least I don't think I do. And so, but still to that degree, if Cora was ever a public figure of any kind with Incom, or even with Sam, shouldn't something have been done to have mentioned the ISOs or her as an ISO somewhere? But again, it sounds like Sam was pretty hush-hush about, and we even see that a bit with Legacy, he was pretty hush-hush about what had happened in Flynn's internal grid that we saw with Legacy. So, I guess in a way that makes sense, but I'm still, and maybe this ties into, I wish they would have done more with the original characters. Yes, of course. But I think that it's still a little bit of a problem with me. I would have at least liked some story of saying, oh yes, we know of Korra, of how she was an ISO and how this was a project, whatever, and they had come out a little bit with it. But then that was that, and they could have still buried Sam and, actually no, they did. They had photos of Korra as well, so clearly Korra was known. So, but they never really fully explained, like, hey, we just never did anything there because of reasons and we're moving on, which they sort of kind of said that, but I don't know, not a lot of fruit in that at all. But yeah, I guess that's because they didn't follow the exact Legacy storyline. They kind of just went back to Tron, the Tron storyline, less focusing now on Flynn's internal grid and what happened there, more so on the future of the Tron series as a whole. And to be fair, if you really think about it, there wasn't much really left to do with Legacy anyway. Yes, okay, we wanted to bring the grid and elements of the grid, including Korra and the ISOs, to the real world, right? Because the ISOs were amazing, these amazing beings that could help us out in so many ways, right? However, that being said, it was only Korra left. Can you make more ISOs? Doesn't seem like you can. Would it be right? I don't know. A lot of weird issues there. Flynn's gone, or at least, only in the sense that we didn't see him, right, except for that one moment in ARES. All the elements of that grid are gone, and now it's just really Sam and Korra. Those are the only two people left from that whole real huge storyline that, they could have done anything with, and there's not a lot of fruit there without adding more characters anyway. So I sort of get why they did what they did with this movie, and I can respect it. I really can. I felt like they were going to have to do that anyway. I felt ARES was kind of what I expected there to be with a third Tron movie. Honestly, I expected it to play out in a similar light to what ARES actually did. So I am not really disappointed with ARES, guys. I don't know. Now let's address people who are not Tron. Again, I'm a Tron nerd. I like all this shit, There were tons of critics that came out and said it just wasn't a good movie. The reason why I think that critics will only ever give good reviews to movies that are meant for everybody to watch. Like, you don't have to know the backstory behind this. You don't have to know, like, you don't have to see the first two movies and understand all the lore, blah, blah, blah. You can just watch this movie and it just is great. It's like Interstellar. Great movie, right? It's self-executing. And those kinds of movies are things that critics are going to like, obviously, right? Something like Tron Ares is not that kind of movie. It just is not that kind of movie. And so, yeah, critics are not going to like it. And so, I think when people are like, well, why do you think Tron Ares is so bad? I think the people asking and then answering those questions with Jarod Leto was the reason, literally never saw the movie. They're just relying on what these dumbass bullshit critics think about. They're just judging the movie like they would any movie. They don't care about Tron specifically. They don't care about the Tron franchise specifically. They're just like, oh yeah, a new Tron movie's out. Cool, let's go watch and see how bad they do with the animation and the acting and shit. Tron has always been a quirky... Are you going to tell me right now that you're going to go back... This whole series started with a really fucking piss-poor-ass movie from 1982, and you all know what I'm talking about. And you're gonna sit there and tell me that anything can fucking trump that movie. Because my girlfriend, I took her to see ARES, and she actually loved it, and I liked it a lot, and she loved it. And she was actually intrigued to go back and see the first two movies. And I tried showing her the original movie to start with, and she was like, she was trying to sit through it, but she was struggling. And I even told her, I'm like, you're really going to struggle with this one. You know, I was like, I don't expect you to really fully sit through this. Just FYI, if you want to dart at some point, I get it, you know. She's probably going to like Legacy a lot better, and she's seen that somewhat way through. But my point is like, Tron has always been a quirky, even Legacy had its quirks, dude. Legacy was a great movie, but it was a fucking quirky movie all the same. It really was, man. And again, critics treated that movie the exact same way. They did. And so it's like, you know, it just is what it is. I don't know. This movie was not as bad as I'm 36 minutes into this video now, and I don't know, doing an hour-long video ranting about Tron. Holy shit! All I'm gonna say is, Tron ARES was not that bad. If you cannot stand the movie because of Jarod Leto, fine. But I have to ask you, what the fuck did Jarod Leto do in this movie? I'm not talking about Judge Jarod Leto based on the bullshit of his personal life. I'm not talking about, oh, well, Jarod Leto sucked at Morbius or all that stuff. Whatever the fuck. Okay, even with all that shit there, set that aside. Watch this movie. Man, Jarod Leto is not this horrible person, right? Okay, maybe he's got some fucked up allegations against him, and yeah, that's fucked up. But you know what? There's so many Trump supporters getting away with murder right now, almost literally. I mean, it's funny how we sit here and piss about Jarod Leto, and then you have like Donald Trump sending military in fucking Chicago and all this horrible shit, and we're all like, oh, you know, ICE, yeah, it's cool. And then you sit there and act like, oh my God, Jarod Leto has sexual allegations. Allegations, by the way, not even proven. Like, okay, your priorities are fucking off, I guess. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it with y'all people. You're weird. And so, again, in fact, until they've proven like these allegations were legit and they really happened, fine. Whatever, and that's bad, and you know, but besides that, I don't think Jarod Leto's a horrible person. In fact, I'm not, and until I would think he's a bad person if these things have been proven towards him. But if they're not, then he's not a horrible person like y'all are thinking. You just don't like the way maybe his modern stuff has been worse. Okay, and you know what? I know that Jarod Leto is watching this shit and seeing all the shit people are saying about him. I know he's seeing it. You know how I know? Because Drumeo did a video where the drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers he'd apparently never heard 30 Seconds to Mars The Kill before, and he drummed to it, and everybody fucking went ape shit about that because it was great. He did a really good job. Jarod Leto responded to that and was like, dude, awesome. Jarod Leto's paying attention. He sees all the garbage y'all posting about. You know, he probably sees your comment fucking person in that Reddit thread, and he's like, okay, whatever, man, shut up. You know? So, you know, people actually do look at this shit. They don't just like, you think that those are celebrities, they don't care. No, these people are looking at on the internet, and they probably see your fucking bullshit comment. Yes, your bullshit comment about whatever this is. And, you know, whether or not they care is besides the point, but I feel like in this movie, Jarod Leto, I could tell, was trying to do a good job. He was really trying to do a good job at this role. And I gotta applaud. I think he did a good job at it. What are you saying? People can't get better? People can't change over time? Is that what you're saying? That they're just destined to always be fucked if they do one or two wrong movies? You know, it's like, so they're always gonna be horrible? No, I don't think so. I think I think that people can look at themselves in the mirror and be like, yeah, okay, probably not my best, my brightest moment, but you know what? With this next movie, I'm going to try a bit harder, and we're going to make it work better. All right, cool, man. If you're trying, dude, I know people personally in prison. I don't know everything they've done, but I know that they have done. I know what they're in for. Now, it's not like the most horrible shit. It's not like, I'm not going to say things, but it's not like really, really bad. But it's pretty bad, right? But now they're acting like, oh my God, I effed up. I totally effed up my life. Holy shit, this is not good. They're seeing it for what it is, and they're like, and they've been, the entire time they've been in there, they're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to do better. They're taking classes. They're trying to work. They're not surrounding themselves with bullshit people. They're just trying to do the right thing at this point. Yes, one could argue a little too late, and sure, don't get me wrong, we have, but it's like, I am not also going to just keep blowing this person, down, just like, oh, fuck you, whenever they are actively trying to do the right thing. Why should I not promote when people are like, oh, fuck, okay, I messed that up, let's go back and go and do better at this? I am not going to just, no, you're forever hated. If you start trying to do the right thing, we talk. Now, yeah, you got some making up to do, sure, but it's like, I'm not gonna just kill. I'm not just gonna kill your light forever. Be like, no, you effed up, sure. Are you trying to do better? Okay, dude, I'm guilty of doing not horrible things, but like really bad bullshit to people, And I go back and I'm like, I really should not have done that, or should have said that. And those same people have given me another chance. They're like, man, people do go through shit. I get it. I don't like what you did. It's going to be hard for me to get around it. But, hey, if you're trying to do the right thing, let's just move past it. I think the world will be a much better place if we all try to do a little more of that. So, my point is here, I'm going to leave this off at 42 minutes, almost 43. Tron ARES was a good movie. Okay? If you have not seen it, go see it. If you think it's not a good movie, that's fine. You're allowed to also not like it just because some dude sitting in his old ass car said it was a good movie. You're allowed to be like, you know what, man, you actually were wrong about this. I did not like this movie. But you know what? If you don't like this movie, comment down below the reasons why. And don't just say Jarod Leto. Okay, fine, Jarod Leto, but why? What specifically did Jarod Leto do? How did he execute the role? Because if you say that and you're like, Ben, I can actually tell you the things Jarod Leto did that I'm like, this was kind of shit. I didn't like how he did this, and this in the movie. That's fair, man. I get that. All right. And I'd like to hear those things, legit. Or about really anything, right? Like I explained to you, here's the reasons. I thought, again, the ARES character was great. I thought Jarod Leto had a very calm demeanor, and I actually appreciated the calm demeanor in this ARES character when it was going over AI, especially when he was trying to be like a good character. So I appreciated it about. I think that was actually a good way to act that role. If you don't like that way he did it, tell me why. Let's hear it. Anyways, guys, this is another video from Tech Maxware. Before I let you off tonight, for those of you that are who have seen my channel before or saw my first video, they didn't just stumble upon this because of Tron ARES. They actually are just watching this because they saw the first video and they want to follow my new crappy weird series. I upload, or to anyone else who's new, I upload every single night now. The reasons why I'm uploading every single night, doing these stupid videos, this is my second video so far, is because this world is shit, and I live in the United States. Right now, the United States is shit. We live in what I would call a fascist environment right now. There's a lot of problems right now. I think we will get through it, but in the meantime, I think we could all use a little bit extra pickup and help. I know I can. So I've dedicated myself to doing these videos every night for my pleasure and for your pleasure. So, guys, I will see you tomorrow for another topic, another discussion, and buckle up. I don't know. I'm not sure if these videos, some videos might be only like 5 minutes long, and other videos might be like an hour long, like this one might be. So just FYI, you never know what you're going to get. I might talk about Donald Trump one day. I might talk about Barack Obama. I might talk about Tron. I might talk about a fucking computer problem. I might talk about a car topic. You never know, right? So stick around if you enjoy weird like rants like this from weird people like me. And I hope to see you in the next video. See you later, guys.